What is going on, Spokane Man podcast? This is KGC here with the Spokane Man podcast, obviously. And today I have my buddy, one of the greatest painters you'll ever see in your life, my good friend, Ron Moore Jr. What's up, Ron? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing too blessed to be stressed. How you doing?
Well, I wish I could say the same thing, but I'm blessed and I am stressed. So, Ron, where are you calling us from today?
Austintown, Ohio.
Ooh, we got Ohio. One of my dearest of friends, she's from Ohio, and she's
Yeah, go Buckeyes.
yeah, Buckeye, go Buckeyes. Or are you a Dallas Cowboys fan?
I don't really care about any professional football. When I was a kid, I liked to watch it because of the cheerleaders. Now I'm a married man. That doesn't happen.
Ron, I trust me, buddy. I love talking with you, and you know we Ron and I we talk, and Ron has a great story of how he got into painting. And can you tell us a little bit about that on how what got you into painting?
Well, I've always enjoyed art. I did a lot of drawing in school. My third grade teacher wrote a note on the back of my report card. For those of you watching who don't know what a report card is, it's an actual piece of paper that had your grade on it, and the teacher would handwrite notes on it, whether you were a good kid or a bad kid. When she made a comment on the back of my report card saying how she enjoyed uh, my drawing, and so that was an inkling to me that hey, I need to do more of it. So I drew a lot in art class, science class, math class, history class, and then it affected my grades a little bit. And even to this day, when she sees me at art shows and different speaking engagements I do, she'll come up and I'll introduce her whomever I'm with, and she would say that she remembers me drawing in art class and science class. I told you, when I was a kid, I was very easily bored, and art was my way to take care of it. And I battled depression a lot as a kid, and so I did a lot of artwork. My mom introduced me to painting. She got me my first painting set. Uh, I took vocational commercial art in high school. After that, my aunt Mary and Uncle Dave Hieronymus, uh, they paid for 2 years of art school through art instruction schools for me. One day I was visiting in their house, spending the night, and a guy knocked on the door. Then he came in and was talking about, I entered a contest a while back, and uh, he wanted to talk about the results of the contest and how well I did. He wanted to offer me a discount. Well, he wanted me to offer it. I got part of a scholarship, but we needed somebody to pay for it for the rest of the schooling. My family, they couldn't afford it, so my uncle, he was sitting there and he's having a few beers, and he's like, "I'll pay for it." And the next day, I said, "Uncle Dave, you remember what you did last night?" And I thought, and he was drinking a few beers, and I don't want him to make a decision because he was intoxicated. He said, "Yeah, I remember. If you stop drawing and painting, I'm going to kick your butt." And so I continued on with that. Did 2 years of school with that. Uh, I've always been an artist. Always enjoyed painting and drawing, and then I started selling a lot of artwork in Ohio, and so I had myself on a pedestal. I got diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2004, and by about 2008, 2009, I lost the ability to create artwork. So then the symptoms got so bad that with Parkinson's disease, has a suicide rate of about 13%. And then I was on my way to speak at Ohio State University for a Parkinson's forum, and I got the overwhelming sense I wanted to end my life. At that time, as a kid, I battled depression. Art was my way to escape. All once I lost the ability to create artwork and I couldn't express myself. And so I floored the gas in my van, went between two guardrails. My thought is I would hit this overpass and nobody would miss me because I felt that Parkinson's was my family deserved better than that. So then I was listening to AC/DC music all the way down there. My van stalled and stopped right before I got to the pillar. And so I started yelling, hollering. I said, God, I can't do this right. How worthless can I be? Then I remember my grandpa saying as a kid that God is always talking. Sometimes you just need to shut your mouth and listen. So all once the AC/DC music went off, the radio died down. I'm like, you know, I'm like, God, I can't even do this right. And I felt like God was saying to me, how much your love and dedication you put into your artwork. And I was like, artwork is the only thing I know how to do. I put everything into it. And I felt God asked me how much that same love and dedication you give to me. I just started crying. I said, God, if you just give me the ability to create artwork again, I'll use it to bless people more than make money for myself. And at that time, I just gave my heart to God. I was like, and then just then, I had some static in my radio, and the radio came back on, and it was singing, and it came on the Oak Ridge Boys. Now, granted, I was listening to AC/DC music before the car shut off. And on the Oak Ridge Boys song was a song being led by William Lee Golden, a song called "I'd Rather Have Jesus." I listened to that song, and I just tears just poured out of my eyes. I wept like a baby. I said, God, again, I give my heart to you. If you just allow me to create artwork again, I'll use it to bless people more than make money. After that, I started my band back up, went the rest of the way to Columbus, spoke at this Parkinson's event, came back home, and then 2 weeks later, I was introduced to Cleveland Clinic. They perform deep brain stimulation on me where they implant two wires deep into my brain. And it's a stimulator. And then they twist the wire behind my ears and they install a battery pack in my chest. And that sends voltage into my brain to stimulate the brain to help control the symptoms. Since they turned that stimulator on, I was able to start drawing and painting again, and I haven't stopped. Now I probably donate 75 to 80% of my work is donated. Um, I've done everything from portraits of William Lee Golden and his family. I've done stuff for Jay Leno and Crystal Gale, uh, lots of other, and I've donated probably about 300 portraits over the last 4 years of everyone from the Texas church shooting, Las Vegas shooting, and a whole bunch. Recently, the Texas school shooting. I did portraits of all 21, the 19 kids and the two teachers. And I also did the portrait of the one teacher's husband who passed away a couple days after that. My thought of that was they left behind 4 children, so I want to do portraits of both parents so the kids would have a portrait of each one of their parents for themselves. And so uh, I felt good about doing that. And my motto has always been it, especially since I was able to start drawing and painting again. Art, I don't want my artwork to decorate walls. If you want somebody to decorate your walls, hire a wallpaper hanger. I think art should bless people, impact their lives. And so I haven't stopped drawing and painting. I draw and paint every day. Um, and it's therapeutic for me. I've noticed that when the Parkinson's symptoms are rearing its ugly head, if I dive myself into a piece of artwork, whether it be painting on canvas or sketching, I don't know if the symptoms go away or I just don't notice them. But they do improve, I think. And so that's artwork's why I love doing it. It's my, like William Lee Golden. He's a great artist, but he's also a tremendous singer, along with the Oak Ridge Boys. And I just when I met William Lee Golden last year, Hartville, Ohio, I gave him the portrait I did of him. The reason I gave that portrait to him is I explained it to him that that song, I'd rather have Jesus, had impacted my life so much. And felt like I had to give him this portrait. He looked at me and said, Ron, he said, art is a gift. The gifts are meant to be shared. And if we don't share our gifts, then it's just stuff. And and that impacted me quite a bit. And I've sold artwork all over the world since my since I was able to start painting again. And I sent portraits to people with different tragedies, and sometimes I get like I got a note card, a thank you card in the mail the other day from one of the filmmakers that was killed in Afghanistan or in oh, was killed. Let's see, you edit this, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, good. You can make this part out. I can't think. Over by Russia. Oh, I did a portrait of the filmmaker who was killed in Ukraine, and I just got a note from his family the other day saying how they love it, and I didn't know how I was going to give it to him, so I sent it to the Pulitzer Foundation in Washington D.C., and they got it to his family, and they said that it was a handwritten note where what they felt of the portrait, and it's going to be framed and hung in his studio. I've gotten photos from or notes from the two FBI agents who were killed down in Florida. Got notes from the head of the FBI and phone calls from them, and done portraits for President Trump. And if you see back here behind me, the top on the top, that's a letter from President Trump that he sent me and thanked me for a portrait I did of his son Barron. And below that is a note from his daughter Ivanka, thanking me for some artwork I did for her. And it's just something I like to do. It's just I think that like we're the Oakwood Boys, William Lee Golden, they can they can paint a picture by their music, their songs. I'm not blessed that way, so mine has to be pictures. Uh, and I hope that some artwork helps bring some kind of joy to some people. And I got like this painting back here. It's one of my favorite ones I've done. It's got the hands of Jesus singing out. And we call that "My Life I Give You." And it just hands of Jesus. There's a American flag, there's an eagle, and right back in here is the I think they call that the battlefield cross. Uh, the the gun that's in the ground next to the boots and the helmet, and just hopefully it gets comfort to some people, and but art is a blessing. Uh, it's helped me through a lot of things. Helped battle depressions, um, and of course, it's always nice when you make money at it too.
Yeah. And Ron, I want to say something. Thank you for sharing that story. Thank you for sharing that William Lee Golden story, because William Lee's been on the show, and he's a great guy. But I want to share something with you. That just gave me hope. The the story about how you were driving through, how doctors were going to tell you to stop. You could never paint again. Well, or make art again, doing what you love the most. I can relate to that because 18 years ago, for 8 months of my life, I was told I was never going to make it. I wasn't going to make it past age 9. And here I am, 18 years old, a high school graduate, doing this podcast, and just how you overcame that kicking Parkinson's in the butt, as you say on Twitter, uh, taking it day by day. That's what I do, you know. And we're not promised tomorrow, so we got to live every day like it's our last. And I just want to say thank you for sharing that. And man, you answered all my questions in just that. you know what? What? I want to say, how has Parkinson's now? How have you been able to cope with it back when you first started? Is it different? Is it?
The Parkinson's is it's constantly progressing. I'm constantly having to alter my technique to accommodate the progression of the disease. And even with these stimulators, what happens is as the disease progresses and the symptoms get worse, I go to Cleveland Clinic and they adjust the stimulators. What happens is they'll add voltage, or sometimes they'll, because at the end of the wire that's in my brain, it's got like three or four different electrodes, and sometimes they gotta increase the voltage on different electrodes, and um, but um, so it's constantly, I give God all the credit, because without Him, I could not do what I'm doing.
Amen.
And, Parkinson's. There's an old saying that I may have Parkinson's, but Parkinson's does not have me. You'll notice a lot of time, whether it be on Facebook or Twitter, a lot of times I do hashtags that giving up is not an option. If I give up, then I give in to the disease and I allow Parkinson's to win. And I'm too stubborn to allow that to happen. And God's blessed me with beautiful wife and beautiful kids and grandkids. Uh, that's something I don't want to miss. And I got to take each day. A lot of people say you got to live each day as if it's your last. So like you said, we're not promised tomorrow. None of us are promised how long we're going to be here on earth. That's why I think it's best to treat everyone the best that you can. Have a relationship with God. Get your heart right, because you don't know. I spoke at my dad's funeral and other funerals that we know that some of the people who've gone to heaven is like, one day we want to reunite with those people we know are in heaven. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to get our hearts right with God. And this is, uh, this is what helps me every day in my faith, art, and of course my family. That helps me every day deal with Parkinson's. And I also a sense of humor. You got to have a sense of humor with Parkinson's. I tell people that I've been known to actually go into Dairy Queen and ask for an application to make milkshakes, and and they look at me like I'm half stupid, and I explain, hey, I got Parkinson's disease, and I can entertain your customers and make milkshakes at the same time, and they still don't get it. I'm like, deep inside, I'm laughing like crazy. And they're looking at me like I'm deranged, And I tell people that, if you ever want to get somebody's attention, sit in a tattoo shop and and let them know that you're the next you're the tattoo artist going to do a tattoo on them, and let your Parkinson's tremors be going like this, and they're like, that's kind of nuts, but uh, I think you got to have humor, and uh, you know, laughter is a good thing.
That's right. And listen, man, you inspired me, and anybody will be watching this, man. I hope that it inspires, because we're kind of hand in hand, kind of. Me and you kind of are, we kind of are special in a way, and we're kind of look a lot alike in a sense of a matter is we were both told we would never be able to do something. You with your art, me with life. But we overcame that, and even though you still might be battling with it, I guess that's kind of like how you cope with it is art. Is you cope through your hard times with art. Is that would that be the right thing to say?
I think so. My coping my coping techniques are different than a lot of people. But I think we all have to find our niche, what we enjoy doing, and no matter if you're battling Parkinson's disease, heart disease, cancer, leukemia, anything, continue to do what you enjoy doing. Even if you have to alter how you do it, but keep doing what you enjoy doing. Because we're not promised how long. The least we can do is do the things that we enjoy doing, to where we at least have joy uh, while we're. I mean, you can give up and give in, and then that takes away your joy. And I like to be happy more than I like to be sad. So I choose to not give up.
I want to ask you a couple spiritual questions because you've already brought up God, and so we're gonna close this podcast out a little bit differently. I know I normally don't uh get spiritual, and I don't know why. But what was the verse that saved your life?
John 12:35. It says a little while, of course I'm paraphrasing it. A little while longer, the light's with you. Walk while you have the darkness, walk while you have the light, lest darkness overtake you. He that's walking in darkness does not know where he is going.
What about that? What says that? What speaks to you about that?
When as kids, we sang a little song. This even the Oak Ridge Boys sang an old child song called "This Little Heart, This Little Light of Mine." There's a lot of truth to that. You let your light, you let your life be a light that'll inspire other people and encourage other people. Because if you notice, that's why I do all these portraits for these different tragedies, um, like the Texas school shooting. Here, I was interviewed by CNN a few years ago when I was in Texas for Texas, and they did had that Texas church shooting. They asked me, they said, "Why do you do what you do? Are you crazy?" And I thought, well, crazy could be a good thing because then people don't know what to expect. Um, I look at it, these people who are grieving the tragic loss, that's some of the darkest times in their lives. When you're in a movie theater, you see somebody, a little light comes on, whether it be on their cell phone or whatever, it brightens up the whole room. I think we should be that light to where we help people in their darkest times. To be that one little light, which I call that the light of the heart, the love of Jesus. We can be that little bit of love will outshine any darkness.
Amen. And and listen, man, you've totally inspired me here today, and you've inspired my podcast. And let me tell you something. Like what you just said, we need to be the light for so many people who have who feel like they don't have a voice, who they feel like they're trapped. And what would be your advice cleaning up, closing out this show? What would be your advice for somebody going through what you're going through, but does not have the hope of Jesus?
Never give up. There's, especially like with Parkinson's, there's so many different Parkinson's groups, whether it be on Facebook and Twitter. There's support groups all over the world. Get involved with a support group. It doesn't matter if you just show up once a month to start. Be active. Um, it's important to find a friend who experiences the same thing you're going through. So you have somebody to talk to. I mean, I can pick up the phone and call my pastor about the Parkinson's symptoms. He'll pray with me. He'll listen to me, but he doesn't have a clue what I'm going through because he hasn't experienced Parkinson's disease symptoms. So if I pick up the phone and I'm able to call somebody with Parkinson's, like I got friends all over the world that we call each other, whether it be on Messenger, video chat, or we call each other on the telephone across the country. Uh, when we're, especially when we're having a bad day, just that one phone call, that one text, that one message, that one tweet, that can make all the difference. And if everything we do in life saves one life, everything we do is worth what we do.
That's right. Wow. I man, there's not many podcasts. I'm left speechless, but you've inspired me, and I and thank you, and thank you again for coming on the show, and also. One quick question: where can people follow you at? Where can people keep up with your artwork, your painting, your?
Well, I'm on Twitter, but a lot of my artwork is on Facebook. Look up Ron Moore Jr. In Austintown, Ohio, or look up Ron Moore Jr. Art Studio on Facebook. Or if you just Google me, it'll bring a lot of the stuff up. Um, I'm in a process of developing a website. Sometime in the next few months, I should have a website going. Um, might make it easier. You know, and any of my artwork that's available, I have a lot of inventory of stuff. Everything from Muhammad Ali to up here. You can't see it, but there's a portrait of Crystal Gale. There's Jesus back there, and any kind of a custom thing. You contact me through Facebook. Um, I accept credit cards, of course, cash and check. But a lot of people think that, well, I can't afford an original. Well, I do something that most artists don't do. I accept layaways, just like the old stores that used to accept layaway. You make monthly, you make frequent payments. When you get it paid off, then you get it. And I do that simply because I know a lot of people can't afford original artwork. It makes it where they can afford it if they can make a payment as they can afford it, but I work with people,
Yeah.
and also on I a lot of people have seen the portrait I did of William Lee Golden and his family, William Lee Golden, the Goldens. I have that portrait on a print. Um, William Lee Golden called me and gave me permission to print that and then to sell it, and so that's what we're doing. And anyone who likes to read, they could check out William Lee Golden's book called Behind the Beard. That is, I read two books, the Bible and Behind the Beard. And I've read that book probably 3 times so far. Each time I get something different out of it. Uh, William Lee Golden has weaved himself a special place in my heart. He's the kindest man, but that book, and if you go on William Lee Golden and the Goldens, buy all 3 of their CDs. I got all 3 of them and I couldn't be happier. I know this isn't a William Lee Golden and the Goldens podcast interview, but I like to put that plug out there because these people are that special. The whole family it's just a whole family of blessings. And if you check out his book, their music, you can't go wrong. And let's face it, you want to be happy, so buy my artwork and buy their music.
And also, while you're over on their, you know, buying WilliamLeeGoldenStuff.com, go to WilliamLeeGolden.com, go to WilliamLeeGoldenandtheGoldens.com, go to the OakRidgeBoys.com, keep up with the Oak Ridge
And
Boys.
they have a whole group of .coms.
Yeah. But also, there's another special guy that we have not mentioned yet this show. His name is Jeff Panzer. If you want to know anything keep anything up to date, Jeff Panzer 2 on Twitter. I encourage you guys to go check Jeff out. He's a great guy. He's one of my best friends, and I know you and Jeff talk a lot.
Yes.
So Ron, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed your time, and I just I hope and I'm praying for you, my man, that you get better and that you feel 100 times better and you get better every day.
Well, every day's an adventure, and I like adventures. I just look at each day as a new painting. You never know what's going to be created on a canvas by slopping paint around, and eventually that slop ended up becoming a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. You have a blessed day.
You too. Bye bye.